So first, let's assume that the elevated surface is a building of 80 meter. A building of 80 meter, that's the elevated surface. So somebody stands here and projects an object. Now, the object was not projected down. The object was projected up. That's more complex than any other one we've done. So it's projected up against the horizontal, 30 degrees. So we have the height already, 80 meter. So we are asked to get the distance away. Here we are not talking about range fully. We are talking about trajectory, this path. That's what we're talking about. So we're asked to get the distance from the point of projection it hits or it strikes. So how do we get this very stuff? We have the height already along a y-axis. But this is quite complex because when you look at this, two things are carried out. This object was projected at an angle of 30 degrees with an initial speed of 40 meters per second. So when you observe very well, you find out that there's a range. We have range in the air. So the object flies into max height, gets to max height. So from max height, it comes back to the place of projection like this. Assuming this object was caught, or assuming this is a level ground, let's say this is a level ground, it's not an elevated surface, then we'll have what we call range, like this. But this very object got to max height, came to the range point, then kept on falling because it passes through it passes through a height of 80 meters. So it goes into the air, gets to max height, falls back to the point of projection, called that is range, then keeps dropping down to this place before it hits the ground. So we have quite a complex stuff here. Here's a combination of both range and trajectory. So range itself is a kind of trajectory, but what kind of trajectory is range? Range is a level ground trajectory, a kind of trajectory whereby the height involves the height covered from that is in comparison with the max height. The height, we have constant height covered. For range, we are talking about something like this. For range, an object is projected up like this. Max height. This is range here. From here to here is range. Why is it range? Range also is trajectory, but this time around is more or less, I can call it equal ground trajectory. From here to here, max height, you can see the height. Right from max height back to the projection point is still the same height. And that's why range is possible. But for this is crazy because of the fact that we have something that looks like range at this very point, from here to this place, here back to this place, we have range. But the whole thing does not end here. It continues down to the ground, down to the earth, from this elevated place of projection down to the earth, like this. So we have range. The first thing we have here is range, and the next thing we have here is trajectory, range and trajectory.